What is up, guys? Today we are checking out the Stealth Ultra from Turtle Beach. This is easily the best Xbox controller, Pro controller, mind you, that I have ever used. It has a ton of features that are both great in terms of a functionality standpoint and a longevity standpoint. We all hate getting stick drift, and this is not only a controller that has Hall effect sticks, so you never will experience stick drift, but it has a ton of back buttons and other customizable features that we'll talk about in this video. Not to mention, look at this, it has RGB, it has a screen. This thing is absolutely insane. Let's take a quick look at the box. So this thing does have a screen again, and you can also edit a ton of settings and features on the controller itself without the need for the app that's made for Xbox. And there's also an app that's the same as the one that's on the Xbox, but it works on PC as well. So this does work well with both Xbox One or Xbox series of consoles and PC. Low latency with 2.4 gigahertz wireless and Bluetooth compatible, so you can use this with your phone and also again wirelessly on both Xbox and PC. You have enhanced audio settings from Turtle Beach as well with their superhuman hearing mode and other equalizer modes as well. Ultra responsive buttons. The buttons are super clicky and tactile, similar to like the Razer controllers from the past. 4 mappable action buttons, 30+ hour battery life. The battery life on this thing is absolutely insane. We're done with the box. Let's talk about what actually comes in it when you order yourself one of these bad boys. So you have your controller here, USB Type-C of course, you have trigger stops and full range triggers as well. Trigger stops are not mechanical buttons, but your bumpers are mechanical buttons, your face buttons are mechanical buttons, your D-pad is mechanical as well. These are just your standard membrane buttons, but you don't really need these too often, so it's not that big of a deal. Your back buttons, also super clicky mechanical buttons, and then your thumbsticks are the anti-drift Hall effect thumbsticks as well, like we were talking about before. And then your headphone jack at the bottom. Nice rubberized grip on the side here. No grip on the inside, unfortunately. And one issue I do have with the controller is actually with the grip itself. So on this part, this Turtle Beach logo, I noticed that like my hand is actually sticky from this part of the controller. So if they just need to figure out how not to make this individual part sticky, I'm perfectly fine with the way that this grip is on the side here. And it would be nice if it could go around to the other side as well, just to increase the little bit of grip that you do have. But otherwise, it does not feel like it's gonna slip out of my hand. But that is something that I noticed with the logo portion on both sides of the controller, just making my hand feel a little sticky. So inside the box, you're gonna have your USB 2.4 gigahertz dongle, and then you also have this dock that you can connect your dongle into and charge your controller on the dock with the pins on the back like so. You just set it on there and then it will start charging, which is quite nice. And then you also have this handy dandy carrying case that you can also set the dock into if you want. You can literally leave it in the case and then plug in the charger just like so. But personally, the case, I mean, I would really only use this for traveling. I would probably just leave the dock out on my desk or on my entertainment stand near my Xbox. Then you also get a nice braided USB-C cable as well. And then you also have these covers for the thumbsticks. So there is a cover. This is probably going to be a little hard to see, but it has a lot of dots. And there's also a cover that has only 4 directional dots as well. Quite honestly, guys, both of these kind of suck. Like, I can't really use these because one thing that I don't love about this controller is that the sticks, they're not super grippy. They're not as grippy as I would like them to be. Like a standard Xbox controller, thumbstick is pretty grippy. And these rubberized grips honestly do not help at all. What has been helping me is actually some gamer grip. I cleaned out the controller before I did this review, but basically gamer grip is like the opposite of lotion, where you put a little bit on your hands and it dries out your hands, leaves your hands a little bit powdery, and then you pick up your controller and you just have substantially improved grip while using any controller. It doesn't have to be for this one, obviously. This did not come together, but the gamer grip did send me out some of this to try out. I have used it in the past when I used to main playing a controller a long time ago, but either way, this stuff works pretty well if you are a controller main. This is something that did help me with the grip situation of the controller and the thumbsticks in general. Not sponsored, but I will leave a link in the description below for you guys to check this out. But thanks for sending the sample over, and back to the Stealth Pro. Let's just go over a quick tour of the software on the Turtle Beach controller. So we have your connections where you can go between Xbox and PC, as well as your smart device, your system settings where you can change a bunch of settings and whatnot, social media when you want to check your social media notifications, profiles for different back button profiles and color settings, headset mixer. This is going to control your volume, chat mix, mic monitoring, and you also have different equalizer modes for your headphones as well. Buttons, this is where you can change your back buttons as well. So this is pretty slick. And you also have access mapping if you want to change the response time and death zones of your thumbsticks, as well as your triggers right on your controller, which is insane. Never seen that before, because obviously most pro controllers do not have a screen where you can actually see what you're doing in real time. Then we also have different lighting effects where we can change the color settings, and we can also change the different modes that we want. But in terms of the actual feel of the controller, it is very, very impressive. So the trigger stops work very, very well. One thing that I noticed about some of the Razer controllers that I used in the past, mostly on the first version of the Razer Wolverine, I believe it was, for the Xbox One, sometimes you would press the trigger hard enough and it would actually slip, where with this controller, I don't feel any of that. And as much as I've used the trigger stops, I have not felt any slipping at all. So they did a fantastic job with the trigger stops. The bumpers are actually the mechanical clicky buttons as well. So same as the face buttons, as well as the D-pad. One thing that I do wish though was that the D-pad was a little bit more directional, but this is good if you like to play a lot of fighting games. So me personally, I don't, but I see why they did what they did. And lastly, again, my final thing that I would really want them to change build quality wise, make the thumbsticks more grippy, and also have swappable thumbsticks, because that is something that this controller does not have, is swappable thumbsticks, where some other pro controllers, for the most part on the Xbox, including the Elite controller, do have swappable thumbsticks. But at the same time, they also do not have Hall effect thumbsticks either. So I guess you win some and you lose some. I don't have any control freaks to test to see if they work on this controller. Again, the software that I was talking about that works for both PC and Xbox is quite nice. Basically, you can go through and change a ton of the settings and actually see it on your TV, which is kind of like the caveman way to do it, which is pretty cool of how easy the user interface is to use. But basically, you can do a lot of those things on the controller itself, with the exception again of the software updates. Turtle Beach did an absolutely fantastic job for $200 for the potential of never having to replace this controller. Maybe not never, but for an extremely long time. And let's say that the Hall effect sticks do start to give you a little bit of issues in the future. You have the ability to adjust the dead zones to basically compensate for that. And that's not even something that regular joystick controllers, for the most part, unless you're getting a crazy pro controller that's also wired, mind you, for Xbox, because most of them are wired, not wireless. This thing has an extremely long lifetime that I can see ahead of it.